Hello, my name's Rodney. I'm sitting in bed now. I'm just do a little bit of preaching now for about half hour to an hour. Um, if you ask most people in life if you could take the clocks back, most people say, yeah, well, they've made so many mistakes. With me, life is learning. As we go through this passageway through life, you learn a lot about life. And what it is this. When my life goes wrong, I accept before it does go wrong. Because if you think it don't go wrong, I'll put a few things across to make you realise how right I can be. But then we're all different how we all think. But what I would say is, I know people when they get married, and when we get married, I guarantee you one thing in life, somewhere along the line, it will go wrong. And when it goes wrong, you realise what I put across to people is going to be right. But listen, you can't all have the outlook like that because I can be wrong sometimes. But life is you're learning. If you say to me, would I take my life back? No, I wouldn't take it back. I'd do the same again. Because as I'm going through my life, I realise it cannot be a perfect world. Because you've only got to look around and see for yourself what's happening in this world. All the starvation, all the things happen in the world where you see things on telly, send £2 so people can see. And when you think, when you're on about all this, and you say to people, what's the most important thing in life, money or life, when you've got to send £2, make them see, and make people better, all the others, well, people were starving, and you think, it's like, it can't be like, it's money, but it shouldn't be, because in this world, when you look at life and how things can go badly wrong, we are sitting on the time bomb. It's just a matter of time when life does go wrong. Because no one thinks it can happen. Like the bang out all started, all your religious thing. My belief is this. I think whatever you do in this life, it can come from one place, and that is from the art. Because I ain't going to say I'm right on this bit, because if you said to most people, if there wasn't heaven, would you believe in that religion? I know what most people say, but I'm not going to say that. It's down to people what they believe in. But I do know one thing: when I reach in this life, when my time comes, and when in my life, many people get so close towards death, and when they pull through, the first thing they say, Rod, yeah, I'm going to live now. Isn't it weird what we all got to go through to realise what life is all about? And when that day comes, you realise how right I can be. Some people don't pull through, so that's it, it's all finished. But what I'm saying to you now, I think every day you wake up is a bonus, because one day we ain't going to be waking up, because no one knows when that time is. Stephen Hawkins predicted a lot of things, and some things have come true. I think how we got on this earth, when you look at the channel 63, it tells yourself where we all come from. People say, the man up there, this, that, and the other. We keep using that man's name. I think by never ever using that man's name, this world will be a better place. And if you put religion to one side and realise at the end of this life we're all equal. All we are when we leave this life, we're just an empty shell. But believe me, there is a spirit and soul that comes out. So I think in life, make the most of your dreams. Don't worry what's beyond, because I can pray and do what I want. It gets me nowhere. There's only one way I can do something really good, is what I'm being now. And whatever I do in this life, it's got to come from my heart. Because I don't have to pray. I know at the end of the day, all what I've seen through generation to generation, all through life, I think at the end of the day, there is what I think myself. But by doing what I'm doing, I don't want nothing back in terms of I've got it already, it's called life. And never ever use the man upstairs, because every time we do and things go badly wrong, we always blame him. I won't blame him because I don't use him. If I don't use him and not say he's here at all, which he's not there, which is good, because that way I'm going through life being real. Because I don't expect nothing about all your heavens and all your rest of it. Listen, all I know is this: when you're in that coffin, and you're just an empty shell, and the soul of spirit comes out, There's no God, there's no religion, there's nothing. All what you believe in when you leave this life, I think every man and woman on this planet, we're all equal. We're all the same at the end of the day. You've got black, white, pink, who cares what colour you are? All I know is we're all the same at the end. Because when we're all in that coffin, we're all equal. No matter how much money you got in this world, you have all the money in the world. Money ain't everything in life. You can be happy doing what you're doing and make the most of your whole life, because we're only here for a very, very short time. I've said this many a time. I was at my brother's funeral a few months ago, and I tell you what I do know. When I see him for many, many years down on that bed, doing nothing, when I see him in that coffin, and Dave, because boy adopted Dave when he was a kid, and I tell you what, that man couldn't do enough for, because when he died, he gave everything a man could wish for, and if he knew Joan was going to be on top, he'd want to go a lot quicker. I know it sounds daft, but through his life, remember, all he was doing is laying on that bed doing nothing. And the day come when Dave got a plot for two people, and when Dave went up to the mum, he said, you know, I've got, as I said before, put all that one side, all the age, all the rest of the day, go and tell your lover, and I hope you don't mind, Mum, I'll put a plot for two. She said, well, that's good. And I said, Dave, you've done a miracle. That's good, because Stan would love that. So I think in life, what you've done is very good, and you paid your debt in many, many ways, because in this whole life, all my family, they're all a million miles away. One's got the other one travelled to Wales, the other one moved to Wales, miles that way, because it's too much. Mum was doing her head in, listen, in this life, you've only got one mum, one dad. I know now, I go to bed at night, I go to sleep, I've got a peace of mind. I've done what I've had to do, and my kids are doing the same. Ailey's doing quite a bit for him, trying to sort Adam out and all that, and myself, you know, she's doing a good job. But at the end of the day, if you can do something like that for the person who put you on this earth, they are your miracle. They are the people you've got to worship, because then that way you're for real. But don't keep mentioning the person there, because every time we do it, it goes wrong, we seem to blame. I don't blame him. I don't even use his name, because I'm going to go through life making the most of this life. And you've only got to look and tell you all the things happening in this world, around the world. Would it be nice? One day, I hope the Queen listens to what I've got to say, because I think in life, things come out of the archives through many, many generations, and sometimes in life we can do some good, and that sometimes can make up for the things what we do in life. For me and everybody else, I ain't saying there's anything bad behind what I'm just preaching, but what I do know, when you think of the jewels, what we got in this world, and the Queen, what that diamond's worth, you imagine if they give that to a third world, you imagine what that could do. Because I do know this, if something happened tomorrow to this world, so at the bang, we are sitting on the time bomb with nuclear weapons and bomb, all it wants somebody is to make one mistake in life, and that can be the world. And if something does happen tomorrow, or something does happen, but we'll think it don't happen. But if it did happen, you imagine what all this wealth be worth, all these jewels and all the rest of it will be worth nothing. Because in this life, we've got too much things on material things like diamonds and all the precious gold, and there's people starving, and there we are, all the wealth in the world in a certain part of the world, and there's other countries got nothing. One day this could happen to us, and if it did happen to us, we want out, wouldn't we? We want to tell them, we need help from somewhere, where can we go? There ain't many places we can go, because at the end of the day, we ain't got time to out of the world. We might do some things in this life, but when you look at this telly, you see all of these nurses do all this good job, and some of them because it's getting too much. The government got to get it all sorted out. The politicians do what they do, and we all know they're trying to do what they do, right or wrong. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes in life, and at the end of the day, all we've got to remember in life is this: what would we all do if we was in their position? That's an easy question, really. We might even do the same. So what we say to people at the end of the day, you want to make the most of this whole life, because life is very short. And make no mistake about it, there are some things in life where people got wealth and hand it down to their family. But some people give their one family I do know, they'll put money or left a lot of money to the daughter and the son. She put the money into an house, and the son bought his number. Now he's in Devon. He's in heaven now. He's dead because why? If that dad knew what he'd done and left that money to his boy, knowing it he'd done good, all that money he's done, he put his boy in the grave. That's a very sad thing, really. And it ain't a made-up story. It's a lot more so. People argue over land. People, my mate's got a second-hand shop, and he said, "Well, do you see them things there?" He always said, "We better take that. If we don't take it, they're gonna, they're gonna argue." So I would like it, but I can't because they give it away because it caused so many problems in life. When this will, at the end of the day, is it worth all the hassle? Because at the end of the day, when you think what you leave your children and all the hassle, because in this next generation, things will be happening where money ain't going to be worth like when I was a kid we got a penny, we got a tuck, we got fruit. There's a bit of money then, we got Saturday morning pictures, fruit, then like sick and that. And every generation the money ain't going to be worth hard anything. So what I say to people, one of the best things in the world, make your kids go through hard things in life, then they can appreciate the good things in life. Because I know in life, these kids have got everything. Is that all I've got for Christmas? They don't realise how lucky they are. And I'll be honest with you, when you think of the dad, their great grandfathers and all the rest, they had nothing, absolutely nothing. And there we got tellies, we got everything going. And now some of these old boys what have fought in the war and want to get money. It's too late. It's too late now. We should have done that way before. Because I'm going to tell you what I do know. If it weren't for like some old people, we wouldn't be on this planet today. They fought a war. When I went to get a war pension, my dad said, "Oh, he's not entitled to why? Because we don't think he's entitled to." Well, what about the ones that are dead were entitled to get nothing? That man, not just my dad, other people, who survived. They're the ones you got to look after. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be on this planet today. They fought wars. They're the best friends getting shot. Things happen in life, like there's stories about like your animals and how we look at how we treat animals and all that. Well, I can tell you what I know about animals. I've said this in one of my other things about a dog, a black and white dog being special. So I came one day and a girl called Mark said to me, "Your dad had a dog, it's special, black and white dog." Oh yeah, and in this black and white dog, he was in the war, and my dad picked him up and took him everywhere he took him because he felt in the war he felt sorry. He took a black and white. He took him everywhere with him, and we're going to cut. And then what happened then? He took everywhere. I had a bit of trouble one day. I had a girl called Margaret. Now I didn't know about the black and white dog until Margaret said to me one day. Which at the Labour, I said, "Well, walk across the road." She said, "Rodney, you know your dad had a dog, and it was special, a black and white dog." I didn't think much of that because at a certain moment, my dad loved animals, we always had dogs. But I didn't realise that one day I was at home, the same week later Donna got killed, the same week Mum got buried. Before that, I was just in the tears, an army tank over like a field. And my mum said to me, she said, "Oh, your dad had a black and white dog, and it was special." Well, I couldn't believe that. Margaret said it was special. Now, I wouldn't have said that because he's special. What is special about a black and white dog? But what happened in war, your dad was in the war, he took his dog everywhere, and he'd been bombarded by the Germans. He was in charge of the platoon army tank. He lifted the latch up, and the dog, he took him everywhere. And what that dog jumped out the army tank, it went running forward, and it took it off a minefield. If it wasn't for the black and white dog, I wouldn't be here today. And how about this? The same woman told me about the black and white dog was the same woman come round my house one night and said to me, that dog's not very well. And it was a black and white woman had 3 dogs. And the last one was a black and white dog. And said, "That dog ain't very well, ain't nothing of it." I was doing what we were doing that night, and when I got back, it was half out the blue. When I got back, the dog was up top, he couldn't hardly walk. I thought, Christ, he walked down the stairs. I thought, Christ, I can't believe it. He walked, and he fell on the floor. I thought, that dog's dying. I can't believe it. It's weird how life comes around. But what about this, right? Every night I closed the door. But that night I thought, I'm going to leave home. We might want to say goodbye. And that sounds dark, really, but it's just one thing. Anyway, I was up the stairs. He couldn't walk. He got to the door. I picked her up and put her on the bed. And he kept itching me off. And I thought, I'm getting tired now. I'm getting nervous. So what I've done, I went on to another burger party, getting up early in the morning. I got on the other side, and the dog kept, and all of a sudden, his front legs flat, and the back leg. He walked towards the door, he turned round, looked at me, his ears popped up, and I fell asleep then. In the morning, I couldn't find him. I went downstairs, and he was on the sofa. I stroked the dog. An hour later, I get a phone call from Dave, who used to stay in my house, Dave Wright, and he said about the dog. The dog just died with me. And I thought, when I tell him I see Margaret, I said, Margaret, you're not going to believe this. That dog, when you left the next day, the dog died. She said to me, I knew that, but the weird thing is, every one of them dogs had their ears popped up. Rodney, do you know what that was? No, what was it? She put her from mumbling up the animal. She put her hands up into the sky, come to me. In other words, she called for animals. It all seemed weird and daft. Spirit, soul, whatever you want to call, drifted outside to the dogs, to my mum's spirit and soul. It seemed like they joined up together. Now, it sounds daft, because the work just went out. When I see that dog, and I knew something was wrong, to me to leave that door, I always closed it. But that night I left it open, so Mum had told me, I want to let that door open, and I'll never, to the day I die, when I see that dog look at me, it seems like you passed the test. I said, what test is that? There's me making it up. Remember the black and white dog saved your dad's life, yeah? Do you remember what you've done for my family, the pup, the mum, the dad, and the pups, yeah? You passed the test. How about this? It don't have to be a test. I'd have done it anyway without that. Why? Because Mum loved animals, and if you loved animals, and I was the only one out of the lot would look after the dogs. No one wanted to know. And I had a lovely house, I think, but material things mean nothing to me. Then dogs are like a human being. I've got a dog in this bedroom, in my other bed. In the morning, it jump into this bed, and if I make it on crying, pretend I'm crying, that dog will come running to me, and he'll come up to me. He can tell when I'm upset. He also knows when I'm not very well. He'll comfort me, and I can make it I'm really, really bad, and he'll comfort me. And when you get an animal like that, you got a friend for life. And when you think what that animal can do to likes of me and other people, and look how we treat them, I think in life, wherever we treat them animals, we will get paid back in a way we never understand, or I don't want to understand, because what I do is come from the heart. I don't want nothing like that, because when I offend you like that, it ain't real. Because I know that dog is like a human being. And he knows when I'm going out, I open up the door, I want to brush my hair. He knows, and he sit out there and he barks at I'm coming with you. He don't like being left in this house on his own. He always likes to be with me all the time, 24/7. And if somebody tried to get into it, he would go for them. See, in life, you live there, I look at life. We're like a slave to them dogs. And what I mean by that, we feed them, and back in return, they protect us. Or they give us company in a way we never understand. Because we're too busy wrapped up in a world where we do want money, want this and that and the other. Sometimes you've got to stop and think and look at them animals. And when you do look at them animals, you've got a friend for life. And as many people I know, when their pets die, they're heartbroken. And some people are so shocked if some people die down to animals. Because why? Because I know some families, the parents are put in homes, and all they can't wait for one, why I said everybody, remember it's not everybody, they can't wait for mum to die. And then they got the will and all things like that happening, and you think, and when you've got an animal, he's there for you for life, for a friend, he's there, and all you've got to do is look after that animal, and back in return, he will look after you every way he can, and it's one of the finest things, I think, when I come home at night, and I see that dog, he makes me welcome. He jumps on the bed, he sleeps with me sometimes. Sometimes he'll be in the other room if he feels it's more comfortable. But in the morning, he always likes to be in this bed, and sometimes I sleep right next door because I think I'm going to sneak out. I can't, every time I sleep there, they got hearing, and unbelievable. They know when someone looks on that door, the way he barks, he can sense it ain't a person you're that keen on. Animals can sense in good and bad people. And I'll be honest with you, when you get something like that, that's more better than any friend in the world, because they're always there for you, and they're a friend for life. And when I think of it, if you offered me all the money in the world, you would not better buy it. Because why? I would never ever sell the dog. That dog's with me, and I also know when life goes wrong, I always think there's a reason for it. And the reason I'm saying, if my life never went wrong, I won't be with this dog today. Because things happen in life where I get married, divorced, and you're at a certain place at a certain time, and it's an animal. Now, if I'd have still been married at the time, I might not have seen that dog, might not have ever seen it. And when I did shit, and I knew if I didn't look after that dog, it's going to be destroyed. And I think that animal knows it, because I can tell it to stop, because the person who had it before had no control. And it wouldn't take long for that dog to go for either a cat or dog, because it's trained in them to fight. But you can, it's down to the owner that can stop. I can stop my dog fighting any time by saying a couple of words, leave and all that, and he'll listen to what I've got to say. Because he knows when he does wrong, he come walking very slow, because he knows he's going to get a good telling off. Because he's done this up one day, and I had to give him a good smack, because this old boy over the dump taking his dogs. And I'll never forget this, and yeah, two dogs. I let my dog off the lead, run about, and I didn't realise the other bloke had two, and he had him off the lead. There's a black one. And when I weren't there, I couldn't stop them in time. They both got, they're both fighting, and like I got over there, I had a hell of a job to pull him off. And when I pulled the dog back off of him, I couldn't believe it. I went back, I went back a little, but I got him in that car, and I went to go and find that bloke. And when I walked around, I've seen him, but I said, sorry. He had a white dog, a white Labrador, he's a father, and a mother by the looks of it. He had a white, and he called the lab, and it come to me. And I know in animals, I sense in animals, and this is what I said. That black dog and the white dog, both Labradors, that what come straight to me. He let me stroke him, and I went to bloke. I'm sorry what happened, but you know, see that dog there. He come to me when you called, and the reason why, if I wasn't there to pull that dog off, he'd have killed that dog. That dog knew that, and because he knew that, he come and thanked me for what I'd done. That animal knew what I'd done, because I do sense in animals like they sense in me. And that dog would bark at me by one. He wanted to drink. He also barked in the car. I want to go to him. I say to him, he said, poo-poo. And I've got him figured, open nose, and he knows. And he bark. And as soon as I put up, he'd do number two. He's speaking in a way which, like when he might want to go out at night, he'll shake his neck under a collar. And when he does shake it at the end of the day, what happens then is, I know he wants to go out. And he does it in a way where he's not talking to me in his own language. But you've got to understand them, and you've got to study the way they are. And if you do, you know where they're coming from. And that once they know that they stick to you like a lead, because they know they won't want to go to anybody else, because that dog's been treated bad, very bad. And when he gets me coming along and give him all the food he wants and everything back in return, he gives me what I want, you cannot go wrong with an animal. Because I think at the end of the day, he's to cut me. I'm in my bedroom now on my own. I thought I'm going to do a bit of preaching now, because you will be in quite a bit of me, because I know at the end of the day, you say to people, I've said this many times, you got something worth $1 million. I said something the other day, and I said, you got something worth £1 million, would you sell it? He said, yeah. I'm going to say it now. I said to him, you know what you just said? No, I've sold it. I'm glad you said that. You have sold your good health. Because I know there's people in that hospital, will give you millions of pounds up what you got. Now you're dead, it's too late. Now I know if you take the clock back, you realise where I am. When I said that, he knew I was right, but he didn't want to admit to it. But at the end of the day, I've got a mate named Mick, and he often listened to me. He said, you should write a book. Another man, a professor at university, said that to me. I said, I can't really write. What I'm doing on this thing now, people might like what I put across. And at the end of the day, there is a good thing, because I think in life, sometimes a man like me might be a bit shot to pieces, whatever you would call it. I think this, we walk down the road, people look at us a bit odd, we judge the way we look, and people put people down to people understand. I've said many a time about certain things, and things have happened when I said, you keep putting that person down, I said, I have to commit suicide. Somebody in America done it one day, and they said to him, what have you got to say? And he said, I don't like what I've got to say, don't tell them not to come on. People don't understand about people's minds. The mind's a very powerful thing. You take the mick of people, and at the end of the day, when you start taking the mick of people, you don't realise what you're doing to their mind. And if you push it too far, some people commit suicide. You know, it's like, lots of it. It's like when you see that Susan Ball, and people judge the way she look, and I thought, you can't judge, you let us. And I tell you what, when I heard that woman sing, it brought tears to my eyes because I don't. It might have gone on that stage a bit funny, but I think me personally, that proved one thing in life: you cannot judge a book by the cover. Because that Susan Ball, what a beautiful, and I reckon at the end of the day, she won that. She won that day because big money involved. Things happen in life. I ain't saying right on this, but it's just me one thing. She won it that day, that Susan Ball, because she was what a beautiful. Because that what you see there was a miracle, and they knew it as well. But because I ain't going to too much on that side of it, I will switch up there because I called a few problems here and there. But what I will say at the end of the day. Never judge a book by the cover because people don't realise that every line on a man and woman face would tell a story. Don't ever worry about worry because worry can worry about you. And if they all look at life, I say people close your eyes, what can you see? Nothing. When we all reach enough, when we're all dead and gone, what can we take with it? Nothing. So what can I really worry about? It should be nothing. Because don't worry about worry because worry ain't going to worry about you. And when you do worry, does it solve anything? Well, no. It makes you very ill. It causes strokes and heart attack. And when you go to hospital, the doctor, you've got to stop stressing and stop worrying about a lot of things because all the worry in the world will not solve. All it will do is make you very, very ill. And like I just said to you before, life is very short. We're all passing through, all equal at the end. And black, white, pink, I don't care what colour you are. When we're in that empty shell, we're in that empty box, and the empty shell, it's all we are then, a shell, and the soul, the spirit carries on going. My soul, the spirit, whatever it is, or the dog soul, the dogs that come to me, it seems like it's meant to be. Because I know my life went wrong, and this dog's ended up with me. It's got to be a reason. Might be that reason, I don't know, I don't want to know the answer. But when I leave this old planet, I should imagine that dog will be he'll be buried with me, I think, or whatever way you look at it. Because I think he's a friend. I wish I could do the same with all the dogs I have, but now I've got to realise down to life what life's all about. By looking after animals, it's like looking after your own family, your kids. Because I think you should treat them the same as you treat your kids, but it don't work like that, why? Because people are too wrapped up in the bills, they've got all pressures in life and money and all that. If you can't afford to have a dog, I know it's old to say this, but when you take an animal is for life. It ain't just a short time. Because it ain't fair for the animal. I know I done, best I wouldn't be here today. So I'm glad my life went wrong, and if it didn't go wrong, I wouldn't be in this house now, and I wouldn't be with this dog. My life would be completely different. So really, at the end of the day, if somebody said, would you take your clock back? Nah, be born. I'm going to keep going forward because I'm learning all the time I'm on this whole planet. And if you said to most people, I like to take, most people want to take, because it's gone wrong in their world. Listen, it's part of life. You will never get a perfect world, and the reason why you won't get a perfect, look what we do, we've got atom bombs, all the poison gases, it's in the air now, thousands and thousands of years, they're never clear. And it's making people, some people we drink the water, the food where this all around there, and they become deformed. Why? Because what we're doing, we're slowly mucking this planet. You cut the seals to the snow runs red. You dump the nitrogens into the sea and it'll be handed down into your fishing sea. When you go into the sea and fish and you club the seals to the snow run red, you dump your nitrogens into the sea, and over hundreds of years it leaks out, and there we are bringing fish, and then we put all the poison into the sea, we do things, we cut, and then we get all the rubbish at home parts of the realm. It's heartbreaking really, because in this life, we're doing so much damage. You can plant all the trees in the world, the damage is done. What would be nice, let some people have a little bit of a life, because some people are not going to get much of a life. Because when things go wrong, we're lucky. I'm at the age I'm now, I've only got a few more years to go, and then my game's finished. But that ain't bad, because there's people being born, they're suffering. We're very, very lucky we've gotten this far. And like Stephen Hawking says at the end of the day, when he says what he says, and how we got here, there's some truth in that. And if it is the bang, that's how we all formed life. Up in that sky, there's things in that sky like a miracle. And the miracle is what we're here today. All the atoms and all the things up there, you see things in this little tiny gnats come from nowhere. It's unbelievable how all life deformed. However, whatever creatures on this planet is where we all started from, and we're all end up the same place at the end of the day, in that box, mate. And when we do, there's an empty shell, and the soul, the spirit carries on going. And at the end of the day, that's not a bad way of thinking. But always remember, don't judge people the way they look. For some people, you can have somebody who might be lovely looking, and you've got somebody with a nice personality, a nice person to get on with, no matter what age you are. That's a very good thing at the end of the day. Why? Because sometimes it's only a number. Birthday, the number to me means nothing to me. You can, because one day you will become a lot older, and you know you're gonna die one day, and it's all your love for that person, it's all gone. Absolutely nothing, just an empty shell, and all your love for your family and everything, it's all taken away from you. And when you look at life the way it is, and now it all ends up at the end, and all what we worry about for marriage and all this, like I said, June, you ask any man on this planet, would you put your life on it? You got to go for this to know where I'm coming from. I've seen a lot, and when I got to this a lot, and I realised this ain't real. But then I've learned a bit more, and if I get married again, I realise it can go wrong again. It don't matter. If you can walk away from any relationship and say to yourself at the end of the day, we love it and that we love you both. That's a good way of playing the game, because when I reach the end of this whole game, I know I'm going to be gone, there'll be nothing then. But what I do know, I can got a peace of mind, and I can go to sleep at night, and I can also look at life like this. I hope they can do the same with their kids, because sometimes life can get to certain people. You have got to be very strong to pull through in this life. Because if you ain't strong, life will get you. And when you worry about worries, not worries that got to worry about you, so what's the fucking point in worrying? Make the most, because all we're on a very short time in life. Now the doctor's shaking his collar now, that's a sign to me, he wants to pick up. Hello, Missy, what are you doing? No, he wants to pick up now. I might get the camera and see what the doctor's doing, what's here. And I'm just getting out of bed now. I'm going to show you what I mean. I think the dog's in there, he just wagged his tail, and I'm going to show you out here now, I'll put a light on, and you see what's this, look, the old dog, right? Where are you, Missy? You're right, Missy, where are you? What are you doing? Here's the Missy. There he is, look. There's a Missy. No. No. All right, Missy? Yeah? Good girl. You can't see him before. He's just gone back to bed now. When he shakes his collar, I think he might be telling me, can you be quiet? I want to go to sleep. So what I think now, because when he does that, there's a reason. And he's back on his chair now, because he'll come in the morning to see me. I want to say goodbye now, because I think the dog's getting a bit tired now. Well, I talk a lot. I'll see you later. Bye. Bye.